What's up guys, Eric Psykik here, and today I want to talk about the Oramond and Rathleton quests. I've gotten a lot of requests on a guide for getting task points since I have a few Oramond hunting videos up now, so it's about time I finally show you guys how to get points to make your time in Oramond a whole lot easier. So the Oramond quest is a quest you start once you begin a task anywhere on Oramond. These tasks you carry out award you voting points which can be spent in the Rathleton Magistrate. You can spend these points on a wide variety of things under the shortcut, boss, and dungeon topics. Spending points not only influences what changes occur in and around Rathleton on your server, but also go toward your rank within the city. As your rank in the city increases, more options become available to you, like the ability to sell creature products to Alistar, weapons and armor to Flint, access the Underground Glooth Factory where the Glooth bandits and the raids are, travel between the boat and town, and more. Your rank and the votes you have spent within Rathleton appear under the Rathleton quest. The highest reward you can get for voting points is access to the Hero of Rathleton quest, which requires 500 voting points spent. So if you haven't started the Oramond quest yet, you have a whole lot of work ahead of you. So there are at least 16 tasks in total, but only around 8 are worth doing, and they get narrowed down even more depending on whether you just want to grind the points out, or whether you want to casually collect the points while you hunt. I'll go over each of the tasks I think are worth doing, and you can decide for yourself which ones you want to do and what your goals are. Alright, so when you first start doing tasks, you don't have a rank in the city yet, which means you're limited to a very few amount of tasks. So when you start out with no rank, you have 3 choices that I'm recommending. As I said before, there are more tasks you can do, but I'm only going to be talking about the ones I think are worth doing for points. The first task is to take the routes, and involves picking the routes scattered around the grounds of Oramond. You don't have to talk to any NPC to start this task. There are 3 main areas you can pick routes: the south side where you first come into Oramond, the east side, and the west. If you're a high level, you can just mark the routes on your map and run around picking them to get points fast. Doing this on my 274 sorcerer, I was getting around 1 point in around 30 seconds picking the routes on the south side. The problem with this though is that there are a limited amount of routes and it takes them 5 minutes to respawn, so I couldn't continuously do this without running to all 3 sides. You could chain the east and the south side, but the west side is a huge hassle if no one is hunting it since there's so many monsters. If you're a lower level, you're going to have to hunt these spawns and pick the routes as you go, or take them from someone who's hunting the spawn and not collecting them. So all you have to do is basically run around picking routes, and you need 5 routes to get 1 voting point. The routes aren't collected 100% of the time though, sometimes it takes a few tries. You don't actually have to carry the routes on you when you turn the task in either, you can drop them on the ground as you get them since they're pretty heavy. To turn the task in, head over to Chavis by Oramond West and save food. Okay, so the next task you can do is the communications task. This task is honestly the fastest way to get points I believe, at least if you're a low level. On my 100 druid, I was getting around 1 point per minute doing this, and got access to Glooth bandits in around 5 hours, which was 300 points. It's boring as hell though, and very tricky to set up if you're alone. I even died once or twice trying to do it by myself. Here's how this task works. You start off by heading down this sewer grate in the south side of Rathleton. You then run all the way east, use the valves 3 times to get 3 colors assigned to you, and then pull the colored levers in the order that you received when using the valves. Then you run back up to the surface, into this building and upstairs, and then turn the flask into Doubleday by saying communications yes. I highly recommend making a hotkey that says high communication yes, so all you have to do is spam it 3 times and go. So that's how you do the communication task, but you're going to want to make a specific setup before you start to make sure the monsters aren't bothering you as you get points, especially if you're a low level. The first thing you have to do is lure the metal gargoyles and rust heap golems into buildings upstairs and close the doors on them. Next, you're going to want to firewall off the monsters in the sewer. It can be really tricky to do though for a low level by yourself, so be very careful. A perfect setup will only require 3 firewalls and 1 fire field, but you may have to use 4 firewalls and a fire field if you can't get all of the monsters on the east side into one spot. This is done by firewalling off the first monster by the ladder where you come in, the 3 or 4 monsters in the center where you run by, and the 2 or 3 monsters to the east by the generator. Sometimes you'll have more monsters on the far east that you won't be able to lure west, so that's where the 4th firewall comes in. Keep in mind that the center part has an extra square the firewall won't reach, so that's where you're going to need an extra fire field to make sure the whole path is blocked. Once you set it up though, all you have to do is keep the firewalls up so they don't burn out and make sure no one releases the golems upstairs, and you're good to just run back and forth. Unfortunately, some paladins botting the metal gargoyles will release them from the buildings. The final task I recommend doing without a rank is combinatorics. Now I don't know if this one is actually a good one to do for points by itself, but I've heard it can be pretty good for a high level paladin since you're just killing monsters one by one. And I honestly think if you paired this with the communications task, you could get some good points since you're running by these monsters anyways. To do this task, all you have to do is enter the same sewer grate you go down for the communications task, and in your server log you'll be assigned a random order of killing a Glooth Golem, Devourer, and Glooth Anemone. Every time you kill the 3 monsters in the correct order, you'll gain a voting point. I'm not sure if you gain extra points for chaining combos. To receive the points, you have to turn this task into Double Day as well. Alright, so you can do the communication, combinatorics, and root tasks all the way to 300 points if you want. I just got my druid 300 points in the making of this video, and I did it entirely off the communications task. Once you get 50 points though, you'll receive a promotion to commoner, and you can start the more casual tasks if you prefer. These casual tasks each require you to kill 100 monsters and can be taken from Terrence over by the metal gargoyles. The first is taking the rod out, which requires you to kill 100 Glooth blobs or rod elementals, then the minor TAURS, which requires you to kill 100 Mutah warriors, minotaur hunters, or worm priestesses, and finally the name of the beast, which requires you to kill 100 blood beasts. Keep in mind you can't stack these kills like in other tasks, you have to turn them in every 100 kills. So at this point, you can either start combining tasks to get more points depending on your level, or you can just grind one single task out. You can hunt Oramond West while picking roots, hunt the Southern Minotaurs while picking roots, hunt the Eastern Minotaurs while picking some roots, or even do the communications task while killing monsters in the correct order for the combinatorics task. So in total, you now have 6 different tasks you can do to get 300 points. A few of these can be done all the way to 500 if you want, but once you hit 300 points, you can get access to the Underground Glooth Factory and kill Glooth bandits, which has to be the easiest way to get points. So the final 2 tasks to do are Nature's Balance and Glooth Capsules. I believe Nature's Balance starts as soon as you kill a Glooth bandit, but just in case, head over to Dristan Wildweed in the northeast corner of the Eastern Glooth bandit spawn and ask him for a mission. The best part about this task is that the kills stack. You can hunt Glooth bandits forever and turn the task in whenever you need points to get a ton of points at a time. Every 200 kills are worth 1 point. The second task, Glooth Capsules, is done by collecting the Glooth capsules that drop off of Glooth bandits and brigands. 5 Glooth capsules are worth 1 voting point, but you can only turn them in 10 at a time for 2 points. The tainted Glooth capsules are the exact same thing as the normal capsules, but need to be converted with a Glooth Converter before you can hand them in. It's kind of a process to get a Glooth Converter, so check the link to Tibia wiki in the description if you want to find out how. Once you're done converting all of your capsules, to turn them in, all you have to do is run over to Elbert in the Underground Glooth Factory and say hi, yes, bye. I like to make 3 hotkeys with each word and just roll my fingers over them to make it easy. Alright, so those are the 8 tasks I would recommend anyone to do that is looking to get 300 or 500 voting points and access to everything in Oramond. In my opinion, the best way to gain points is to do the communications task to 300 and then turn in Glooth capsules to 500, but the other tasks are not bad for people who don't want to run back and forth in the sewer for 5 hours. I'm not going to go into huge detail about the topics you can vote on because they're pretty self-explanatory. All you have to do is talk to Marvin in the Rathleton Magistrate about a topic and he'll go over the different things you can vote on. The shortcuts are just slime slides back to town from particular spawns. The dungeon determines what monsters you'll find in the infamous Catacombs dungeon, which is most likely Wrath of Evil on your server. The raid chooses which of the 3 Underground Glooth Factory raids will spawn, and the boss topic just chooses which of the 3 bosses will be active for you to kill that can drop a unique item. Alright, so that pretty much sums up the Oramond and Rathleton quests. Again, the Oramond quest in your quest log is where you'll find the tasks you're currently on, and the Rathleton quest is how you can keep track of your rank in the city and how many voting points you have. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I didn't miss anything. I know there are more tasks you can do, but they are all huge hassles, so I wouldn't bother with them unless you're looking for achievements. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.